if you're talking to somebody over the phone, if you're trying to do a video, if you're doing a sales video, if you have a sales presentation, why the hell should they listen to you? When you sell, now you might be thinking, well, that I'm not going to sell on camera. Doesn't matter. There's 3 parts that I believe make all the difference in the world. Hook, story, close. So this is the part that's easy for everyone. So we'll talk about that obviously second, but let's talk about the hook. So the hook is what gets somebody to stop. I did a Larry King style interview it changed everything about infomercials. If you ever saw a sit down interview infomercial, nobody had ever done one until I did in that way, like Larry King style. No scripts, nothing fancy, no fancy graphics. It was just me talking about my book. My book at the time was called Be a Real Estate Millionaire. It was while the market was crashing, and I was telling people how to use strategies on the way down. Wholesaling, same strategy is going to be used when the market crashes, or changes again here soon. You're going to want to wholesale all the way down in profit. Anyway, so I do this interview, it changes everything. Now Larry King, he spawned that. That was a really pinnacle part of my evolution. It changed everything. I mean, I was doing great up until that point, but went to a whole nother level, like through the roof. Everything changed. Impact huge. 1 million copies of that book sold because of that infomercial. Anyway, long story short, fast forward 12 years, Larry King is right here. I have a mutual friend, he comes down and I'm going to do an infomercial with Larry King where he's going to do a real interview with me, not like a fake staged one. He came down and said, do you have questions? I said, I'd rather not. Let's just you and I go, Larry. So we had the set up here. He comes down. I had the Larry King mic. In fact, there it is. That's why it's still back there. You can see it behind me. It's like right over this shoulder. That's the Larry King mic that I bought 12 years ago. It was like a couple $1,000, I think. It was crazy, right? So anyway, I'm telling you all this for a reason. Larry King comes, and I'm ecstatic. This guy changed my life. He's Larry King. He's been interviewing people for 60 years. And I don't say people. Every president, every world leader, every major artist. The guy's interviewed everybody. If you're young, you probably don't know Larry at that level. But if you're my age or even a little younger, you know what the impact Larry King had on the world, right? So he comes, he grabs that mic and he adjusts it. He goes, the mic belongs here. And I'm nervous. But long story short, we're going to get to the hook. I'm talking about the hook, right? I write the opening line for Larry King, and then the rest is just a real interview. And how I wrote it, I went and looked at his biggest interviews with Prince and Madonna and Gorbachev and Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton and George W. Bush. And I looked at all the presidents and impact and world leaders, and he always started the show the same. He really edified his guest. He would say, tonight on Larry King, I'm with Madonna. She went from this to this and she's done this and multi-platinum records and da-da-da-da. So I said, all right, my God, I get to have Larry King interview me. And I write, tonight with Larry King, I'm here with Dean Graziosi, multiple New York Times bestseller. So same kind of open. And then him and I go into the show. So why here, why now, why the book, what do you do? We have this great interview. The show's amazing. I'm ecstatic. I was nervous. I had cotton mouth for the first time in ages because I'm there with Larry King, right? All cool. We get done with the show. It looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. We put it on the air. Nothing. Doesn't work. Like, oh my God, I've been doing infomercials for 20 years. Why didn't it work? I change it. I tweak it. I change the offer. Change the book. I change all these things. It's not working. And I said, let me step back. I look and I analyze the show. And I realized what I missed. I missed the fact of the hook. The hook is what gets people to be compelled. The hook is what stops people. You see, today, you can name this anything you want. If you don't like hook, story, close, name it something else. It's the grabber. But in today's world, if you're not compelling someone to listen to you, if you're face to face, if you're talking to somebody over the phone, if you're trying to do a video, if you're doing a sales video, if you have a sales presentation, why the hell should they listen to you? The world is so busy. We're in the information age. There's a million things online that you could do. A million. There's a million ways to get information. There's a million videos. There's a million things to buy. Why are they going to listen to you? In a sea of everybody with black shirts on, how do you stand out as the only person with a red shirt where they find you and go, I want to listen to that person. I want to hear what they have to say. I want to know what they do. How do you stand out like that? That's the hook. That's the compelling piece that stops people. And if you don't have it, then you go right to the story and you're just like everybody else. You got your black shirt on. So I look at this Larry King show and I'm like, why isn't it working? It's got all the components. I've been doing this for 20 years. And I'm like, it's the hook. It's the open of the show. I was in my head. I was telling the world how great I was. And here's something I share all the time, but I want you to think about it. People buy from you when they feel understood, not when they understand you. You've heard me say it. Write it down. People buy from you when they feel understood, not when they understand you. So the opening part, I wanted them to understand who I was. I was a badass. I'm here with Larry King. I'm a multiple New York Times bestselling author, started 13 companies, great dad, lots of money, blah, 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 lots of experience, friends with Richard Branson and Tony Robbins, and vomited up, right? I was getting them to understand me. So I changed nothing on the show except the opening sentence. And I changed it to this. And this is how Larry King started the infomercial. Have you ever in your adult life looked in the mirror and thought to yourself, wow, I thought I'd be further ahead by now? If you have, you're not alone. How does that touch your heart compared to tonight with Larry King? I'm here with Dean, multiple. One is about me, one is about you. Let me ask you, have you ever in your adult life looked in the mirror and thought to yourself, wow, I thought I'd be further ahead? Of course you have. We all have. That was the hook. That changed the whole infomercial. That infomercial rolled out. It's done tens of millions of dollars since then. It's impacted lives all over the world, gotten my book in people's hands, all those things because of that one thing, because of this, because of the hook, the thing that most people miss. And here's something that you don't need to know marketing lingo. I never knew marketing lingo. I didn't even know I did this. Just so you know, this isn't something I learned and then went and did. This is something I've been doing for 20 years. But when I have a $100,000 a year mastermind and now a $250,000 a year mastermind, I can't just go, well, this is what you do. Just do it like Dean. No, I have to break it down. I have to give you a framework. So when I analyzed all my best videos over the last 20 years and all the best ones I've done in the last 3 years, what I realized is everyone had a hook, a story, and a close. Everyone. So I want you to think of, what is the hook? What is the grabber? So a hook could be words. Have you ever in your adult life looked in the mirror and thought to yourself, wow, I thought I'd be further ahead by now? But I've also done other things that are a grabber that could be a hook that are visual. I've gone, stop, stop, stop. I've held up cards like, hello. I've held up cards with a sign on it. If you ever saw I pulled a book out of the flat screen on my Tesla. I had a cool one where I was shaking a box and the books just kept falling out of the box. That's done graphically, right? I've been in a cryo machine where I was freezing. I've been on the top of a mountain. I've been standing on the roof of my car. Those are grabbers, but it's still a hook. It stops you. All you want people to do is stop. And if they stop, then you need the words. Like, here's what I'd say. You see people use like a pretty girl to stop, but then there's nothing compelling, so it doesn't work. You could have something really cool where you blow up a house and they stop. But if you say stupid stuff after that, they're going to still leave. So you need all three of these components. So what is the hook? And here's what I'd say. To think about a hook, what is the biggest fear or the biggest question your demographic is asking themselves? What's the biggest fear? If you're in weight loss, what's their biggest fear? If you're in eating healthier, if you're in life coaching, if you're in real estate, somebody's looking to sell a house, what's the question that they're asking themselves? Are you looking to sell a house without the hassle of an agent for a full cash offer with no headaches and we close in 14 days? Like, what's going on in the mind of the person you want to approach? You have to figure out the avatar of the person sitting on the other side of that video, sitting on the other side of that phone, sitting on the other side of the table. You have to figure out that avatar, and then you got to speak into them. What do they fear the most? What do they want the most? And that should be right in the open. And then the next part is, once you have the hook and you lean into their fear, you lean into their desires, then promise them something. In marketing, I never knew this till the last couple of years, they call that an open loop. It's like, hey, oh my God, I discovered how to lose 20 pounds while I was still busy, while I'm trying to be a good dad, while I still ate bread once a week. I'm going to show you exactly how I do that in a moment. But first, I want to tell you this story. That's the open loop. That's a hook and an open loop. So think about hook and open loop. That is going to grab someone and they're not going anywhere. And then you evolve into your story. You evolve into your story. You see, your story is the thing you already know how to talk about. The story is where you edify yourself. You show why you are capable of teaching this secret. You could tell your hero's journey. You can share the biggest fears you had and the biggest fears they might have. You could tell them how to overcome those fears. You could share success stories. You could share social proof of other people or yourself. You could talk about what drives you. You could talk about an epiphany you had on why you discovered this. You could talk about why maybe your father was overweight and it ended his life. I just know the person's father was overweight and he died young, and his son loved him so much and he was so sad. He's dedicated his whole life to helping other people find a better way to be healthier and not, lose someone like he did with his father. Tell that story. Be authentic. This is where you be real. This is where you have enthusiasm at the high parts, but live into the parts that affect your heart. This is where you don't try to memorize what to say and think of saying the perfect things. Rather, you just say who you are, what you are. Let people get to know you and why you're the expert. This is where you overcome their objections in advance. If someone's overweight, I'm just using an example, and you're going to help them get skinnier, talk about the things. In the past, you may have tried fasting. You may have tried ketos. You may have tried no carbs, and it didn't work for you. Here's why it didn't work. Let me tell you 3 reasons it didn't work. Now let me tell you 3 reasons why it will work. Think about this. I said, have you ever in your adult life looked in the mirror and thought to yourself, wow, I thought I'd be further ahead by now. You're not alone. I felt that too. But what if today I was going to share with you how I went from literally living in a bathroom with my dad. I worked in a collision shop. I drove tow trucks. Fast forward, I've generated now over $1 billion with my brands and my company. And there's just a few things that I think made that possible. I'm going to share that with you today. But first, let me tell you a little story about growing up. Hook, open loop, boom, get to know me. See if I'm the guy you want to do business with. See if you like my values. See if you like what I stand for. I don't care if you're face to face. I don't care if you're talking to a teacher about your kids. I don't care if you're talking to your spouse. I don't care if you're talking to your boss. I don't care if you're talking to your partner. I don't care if you're trying to close a deal or get somebody in your life coaching or sell you a house or buy a house from you. It's all the same. This is why I said in the beginning, love what you do so much that you feel like you're doing a disservice to people if you don't get them engaged. Because this is next level. But if you love what you do and you know it impacts lives in a positive way, then use this, right? So now we're into the story. You've watched them. If you're online at all, you've seen my story in my ads, right? It could be, hey, I did drive a tow truck. True story. I did work in a collision shop. True story. I did have envy of other people getting ahead. True story. But I also obsessed on people that were successful and I noticed their habits. True story. When I started adopting those habits in my life, things shifted. It wasn't the magic money machine. It wasn't getting rich overnight. It wasn't hitting a few keys on my keypad and money shot out of my mailbox. That shit doesn't exist. What changed was my habits. What changed is I got good at marketing. I got good at sales. I loved what I did, that I wanted to change people's lives. All of that is true. That's part of my story. That's who I am. You might know that my parents were married 9 times when I was a kid. You might know that I moved 20 times when I was a kid. I want you to know all that. I don't care if I say it a lot. It's who I am. You might know that 2 years ago, 1.5 years, I went through a divorce that almost wrecked me because I was so scared about my kids. You might know that now I'm in the best relationship of my life. I'm on the other side of that. I share all that in here. It's who I am. Now, what you sell and what you want to do might be completely different, but be exposed, be transparent, be real, be authentic in here. Let people get to know you. Let them learn your values. Let them know why you're an expert in this, why this product, why this service, why real estate, why life coaching. It doesn't matter what it is, let them get to know you. Now, here's the thing. So many people do this well. Some people even do this. And this is the part, and I'm going to circle it with red. This is the part most people screw up. Every single time you have a video, every single time you talk to someone, every single time you want to persuade your kids, your spouse, your kid's teacher, your coworkers, all the people I mentioned, partners, people going to buy your product, going to buy your service. Every time you do, you have to have a close. You have to tell them what to do. You have to have a CTA, a call to action. Again, this is where people get really delusional. If I hook them, they're here, they're watching my video. Awesome. How many videos do you see even have 20 million views? They might stop and they might listen and love it, but do nothing after. If you want them to take an action after they learn from you, after they're hooked, after they're like, holy crap, this person knows, you have to tell them what to do. You have to give them a call to action. So many people think the Kevin Costner movie, if I build it, they will come. They think if I talk to you and share my value, if I'm on stage and I share my value, if I'm in front of you talking about your house, I share my value, if I get you to listen to me, if you get you to watch my video, you'll just do what I'm asking. They won't. You have to have a compelling call to action. And that's the third part, CTA. So let's talk about this. Guys, if you're loving this, give me a thumbs up. If you're loving this, give me a thumbs up. I want to make sure that I'm on track. I want to make sure that this is the right group. I want to make sure you understand the value of this. If you understand the value, give me a thumbs up. If you're loving this, give me a thumbs up. If for some reason this is over your head, then you're wrong. This is not over your head. You need to do this no matter what it is you want in your life. So here's the part. This is a part that I really want you to think about. Is between your story and your close. I'm going to get another color here. Just because I have them, I figured I'd use them, right? In between here, this part here is what a lot of people get nervous and kind of screw things up. So have you ever had something that or watched somebody that's really passionate about what they do, right? And then when they go for the ask, when they go to the call to action, they get nervous. Maybe you. Tell me, you can tell me this too, because I love looking. Thank you for all the thumbs up. I'm glad you guys are digging this. Tell me if, let's see, give me a yes here in a second. I want to see how many yeses, if you're really honest. I mean it, be completely honest. If you are a little hesitant to sell, if you're a little apprehensive, if you feel a little bad about selling, or if you've ever had somebody and they're engaged in what you want and then you got to the part where you had to ask for the money, you started getting nervous, even sweaty, like, oh my God, now I got to, in your head, you got the two conversations going on, you're talking in your head, you're going, okay, I need to ask for the money. I need to ask for the contract. I need to ask for the date. I need to ask for some. Let me know, give me a yes right now if that asking for the money, asking for the yes, asking for the date, asking for the partnership, that asking them to sell their house to you at a cheaper price or buy a house from you. If that last minute when you ask for the money or the call to action, you get a little nervous. You get a little hesitant. Yeah. Yeah, look at all the yeses coming in. Even if it's just a little. If you feel even a little bit hesitant, a little bit bad, a little bit off, you've already lost. Because it's like you're apologizing, like you're doing something wrong, right? If you watch me with my book, like if I don't get you to get my book, I screwed you, right? So I'm enthusiastic about asking for the money. Click the link below, grab my book. Click the link below, become a part of my inner circle so I can help you every month because I can't help, so I want you to think about right now, if when it's time for the close, the call to action, if you change who you are, your physiology, your tonality. Because in most cases it does. I watch people do it on stage all the time. They're supposed professionals. On fire and fire and fire for 60 minutes, they go to sell their product and they're like, oof. They're deflated, they're different, they're off. So in this hook story close, in here, in this part, I want to talk about using a bridge. Now I've talked about this before, but I want to talk about it again. This is the part that you can hack into your call to action. So, what's a bridge? A bridge is as simple as this. I tell the story about my life, about my changes, what habits have done for my life, right? Now I want to say, I want to get you to buy my book. Instead of thinking, okay, so now I want you to get my book because I can change your life. Go ahead and grab it. Like, they're not going to. They need specific instructions. They need a confident call to action. But think about the little things. It's like, hey, like right now, if I was selling a course on how to shoot videos that convert, you already had the hook. I'm already showing you this. So say I'm shooting a course on how to shoot videos that convert. And I said, listen, you've seen me on video. You know my values. You know what I stand for. I'm betting you want to get better on video and you're going to need help. I'd like that help to be me. So here's what I created for you. And I go in. I created a course on how to get better on video, and it's module 1, module 2, module 3. We'll get to the dynamics of a CTA in a minute. But you see that quick little bridge? That gave me permission to sell to you. You can say, listen, hey, I've been talking here for about a half hour about videos. I hope it gave you a lot of value. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. Like literally, the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more I want to deliver to you. And that's why I created the XYZ course on being better on video. And I'd love to share that with you today so you can get enrolled. You see that little bridge? That little thing that can live right here can trigger you to be a better version of yourself. To not be nervous about the sale, to be excited, to ask permission in advance, and then get them to engage. You see why I started this with loving what you do so much that you feel like you're doing a disservice if people don't get it. If you don't love every bit of what you want to offer somebody in your business you want to start, anything that you do, scale, houses, rise up through the ranks in your company. If you don't love it, step up your game. Change the course, change the product, change your attitude, because this is going to work. And if it's going to work, over-deliver. That combo of good marketing and over-delivering, bam, your next level. That's what allowed me to get here. When I said I did over $1 billion of my brand and my company, this is my secret sauce. What's up, what's up? Hey, don't forget to look at the action steps we've posted below. They are the perfect way to take your success, abundance in this crazy world to a whole nother level.